Hi, this is Dave and welcome to the Table, a series of videos where I review and discuss various board and card games, looking at them from a family perspective. Today we're going to be taking a look at El Caballero from Rio Grande Games. Now this is a 2 to 4 player strategic tile laying and area control game where you take on the role of an explorer following behind Columbus, exploring different regions in an attempt to have the most control to establish trade and gain money. Now you're going to gain money by having control of the resources of gold and fish. Now, other players have the same goal in mind, so you can build castillos to kind of protect yourself from the others. Now, let's take a look at this game and how it's played, and I'll come back and I'll give you my thoughts. Okay, let's take a look at the components that come in El Caballero. And first we have this nice scoring track that comes with the game and starts up here in the corner, and it moves its way around all the way down to 100 points here. So you'll be able to move your scoring pawns along the game, and we get 4 of those that come in the game too as well, 1 for each player. And also at the bottom here we have a rules summary for both a basic game and an expanded game. So you actually have 2 versions of this game that you can play. So I showed you the scoring pawns here. We have a nice rule book here that explains how to play the game. There's some nice illustrations that are inside explaining various steps and things that we can do on a turn. And then finally at the end we do have rules for the expanded game. So it gives you a little bit more to play once you've got a good handle of how to play El Caballero in the basic level. Now, in the center here, you see a bunch of these tiles here, and they are going to make up the game board that we play. And a few different things that I want to show you here. There are 2 distinct types of regions that are on the tiles. We have land and we have water. And then on certain tiles here, we have, like, this is a fish here. And on land we have gold here, and those are going to be used to determine scoring. But this is going to make up the playing area. Next, for each player, they're going to have a power deck here, and they are numbered from 1 through 13, and those will determine your rank and your strength for your turn order as to what, if you're going to be going first, second, third, or fourth. And then also in the center will be how many caballeros that you will be able to add to your court to use each turn. So the lower the rank, you may not be able to go first, but you'll be able to add the most. So each player will have their own little deck, and on the back you see this nice black and white artwork here. So each player will have those. Next, each player will have 10 of these Caballero tiles, and they're double-sided. So you have 1 through 4 on one side and 5 through 8 on the other. And these are going to be used to determine how many Caballeros you have in your court if they're played in front of you, or how many Caballeros you have occupying certain territory on the playing board. Next, each player will have some of these. These are governor tokens here, and these are used in the expanded game to be able to allow for double scoring on an enclosed area of land. We have these cubes here, which will be used as what they call a grande, which is essentially an enhanced fortress that will protect your caballeros, and these are also used in the expanded game. And then we have over here, we have a number of these ship tokens that can be placed on the game board, and these are going to be placed on your caballero tiles, and these will be how you score for occupying water terrain. And then finally we have these castillos that can be built, and these are going to be able to somewhat protect your caballeros over the course of the game. Okay, now that we've gone over the components for the game, let me get it set up for a basic game, and I will show you a sample of how to play. Okay, so I've set this game up for 2 players, and first thing I want to note that in the basic game, not all of the components are used in this game. So you do not see the grandes or the governors in use in this particular version of the game. Next, even though the game comes with 10 of these caballero tiles, we're only using 8 per player in the basic game, so you leave 2 of them in the box. And then also on these ship and castillo tokens back here, you're going to take 4 of each of them and return them to the box, so they're not all used as well. So now I've got this game set up here, and I've taken the scoring pawns for these players here, and I'm placing them on the 0 or the starting space for the scoring track. You can't see that because we need to have all the action here, and I can't get that all in view without you being able to see things clearly. So that was the first thing that I did. Next, we have each of the players will take one of their Caballero tiles here, and they will take it, the number 5, and they will face it towards them. And this is going to give them their starting number of Caballeros in their court, which is 5. So when you're looking at these tiles, whichever number is facing towards you is the number of what you have available. Okay, each player will then receive their power cards here. It's a deck, and they go through 1 through 13. And those are going to be used during the game, and they're going to serve a couple different purposes. First of all, if we look at the cards, the numbers here are going to be determining the priority. So as they're played, the higher the number. At the end, when all the cards are played, whoever has the highest number will be going first. But if you notice here, a number 1, there's a lot of stuff that can be added, but later on there's not as much. So even though you may want to go first and have a higher priority, you may not have as much manpower. Okay, so it kind of balances itself out that way. So each player will have those decks. Next, I've taken these area tiles and I shuffled them up, and I took 5 of them and I've placed them face up here, and these are going to be the tiles that we will be able to select from when we have to place a tile. Okay, we will be placing 1 tile per turn unless we play the number 9 card in this deck here, which will tell us that we have to play 2 area tiles. Okay, so we've done all that. Now we will turn over a tiles here, and if we happen to turn over a tile that had either gold or the fish on there, we would have to turn over another tile until we have something that does not. So this is going to be placed in the center here, and that is going to be the starting area for how this game is going to be played. Next, starting with the youngest player, they will in turn choose a card from their deck, and they will play it. And so he's going to play a 5 there. Okay. Now any other player here after that, if we're going around clockwise, will not be able to play the 5. They can't play the same card as anybody else. So we will play this 6 here. So in this 2-player game, we will be going first. Now, on my turn, what I will do is I will be able to add 4 Caballeros to my court here. So I'm at 5, so I'll turn 6, 7, 8. I'll move this over and add another tile. Here I have 9. So I have 9 Caballeros that I'll be able to work with. Okay. Next, what I'm going to do is I will be able to select a tile here, and I will be able to place it on the board. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to place this on the board. Now, one thing to note here is that they have to match the same area types. So you have to match land to land. You can't go land to water, or you can go water to water. Okay, so I will place this here like this. Okay, so we're starting to build this game board here, and we have land to land. So that's going to be one of the things that I'm going to do. Now, on my turn, I have a few different things that I can do. I added Caballeros to my court, and then I played one of my tiles, and then now I can add Caballero tiles to the board, and what this will do now is allow me to occupy this area, and this is going to in an attempt to control it. So what I will do is I want to place 3 Caballeros on this area. So I will take one of my Caballero tiles here, and I will place this 3 facing towards the land. Okay, so now I have 3 Caballeros that are going to be essentially trying to control this particular area. And then what I will do is I will in turn decrease my court number down back to 6 here. So that's what I have done there. Now I've placed this here. Okay, and that is basically what I'm going to do. If I decided that I wanted to try to protect that area, I can build a Castillo here at the cost of 1 Caballero, and I could place it on here. And what that would do is if somebody else played another tile and made me lose these guys, it would, that would be it would protect them. They would go back to my court and not be lost. Now, with these Caballero tiles, it's pretty complicated as to how they work. They can only be facing against one area of land. So if the game were to progress later on, and somebody placed a tile here, and then they turned around and they placed this, this tile is now facing two areas of land, and so these guys would be lost. We would essentially lose those. So there's some strategy as to how you're going to place your tiles here. Now, if they're facing against water like this, it would be no big deal. So you would actually be able to occupy that water there. So it's pretty complicated at first to understand how these Caballeros work. So now we've done those things. We could also build ships if we wanted to at the cost of one, and you would essentially put this on. If this was facing water here, I would put this on here, and then I would be able to score for water terrain that we're occupying and stuff like that. So there's various different things that we can do here in this game. Okay, so that would essentially be the end of my turn. Now the second player would do the same thing, and this is going to continue on and on, building this game board. They'll be adding, and after he had placed a tile over here, maybe he placed this one here. At the next round now, 2 more tiles will be placed, so that we always have 5 to choose from. And we're going to continue on building this game board. At the end of the 4th turn, we will be scoring these areas here, and you will be scoring for the number of gold that you occupy in the land, and then also the fish in the water and how much area you control, and you will score points that way. And then at the end of the 7th turn, whoever has the most points will win. So I know I only showed you a little bit here of what's going on, but I wanted you to give the basic gist of how things work. And also during the course of your turn, if you wanted to increase the number of Caballeros here, you can never add to here to make it equal to what another player has. You would have to add more or less in terms of determining ranks. So if I had 3 here, and maybe later on maybe he decided to place something over here, maybe he had 4 at one point, I could add a couple more, and I would just decrease from my court here, maybe down to 2, and I'll bump this up to 5. And so you're battling this out in terms of area control. Okay? So that's a basic understanding of how this game is played. Okay, let's talk about El Caballero here. And first of all, I want to say that in the gameplay, I'm sorry that I wasn't able to show a lot more of what's going on, but it would just take too long. There's just so many different things that you can do, and there's so much that's going on that I just wanted to give you a taste of this game. Now, this game it's very meaty. There is a lot of stuff that's going on, and it is very, very important that you think when you play this game. So if you like a game where you have to think, then El Caballero is going to be your game. Now, let me talk about a few things with the game first of all. And the artwork, I really like how they did it's kind of a minimalistic type artwork that's on the tiles, okay? And it just gives it this overall kind of an old world map feel. I mean, you've got water with waves. It's nothing really extravagant. And then you've got a fish spot that could go on certain tiles. And then essentially on the land you have like a little bit of some shading, and it kind of looks like desert, and then there's some gold areas that's in there. So it's not really, really elaborate on the artwork, but it gives it this nice old world feel. So I really, really like that. It just really lends to the theme. Okay, and then next, I do like the decor and the font selection for the Caballero cards. The tiles, the Caballero tiles, and I just like the little picture that's kind of in the middle. It's kind of shaded, and then just like not a really bright, vibrant colors, but they're a little bit more subdued, and so again, lending to that old world feel. Okay, so the artwork really lends to this game very much so. Next, gameplay in this, and even looking at the basic game, there is so much stuff that's going on that you can be able to do on your turn, and not only do for yourself, but things that you can do to your other players, because in the rules, you can't have caballeros when they're occupying land. They can't be touching another land tile, so you can strategically place tiles, and if they don't have themselves protected, lay something down, and they're going to end up losing their precious people. Okay, so there's some take that in there, but it's very very deliberate to be able to do that. You have to go out of your way to place those tiles. And if you're not paying attention to how you're placing yours and you're not protecting yourself, you can get caught up in that, and you're going to lose your guys that you use to maintain control. So again, you'd have to use like Castillos to protect yourself, because if you end up losing that tile, then at least they go back to your court. Okay, and you can be able to deploy them later on. Now, also, you can use ships to occupy the water, and sometimes, again, placing these tiles, how you're placing your Caballero tiles. If you're occupying only water to start off with, later on, if you can place a land tile next to it, you essentially will get those guys on there for free. You won't have to pay. So there's a lot of little nuances in this game that really add to the strategy. Now, there is a lot of resource management and how you handle those power cards and when you play them in order to determine when you're going to play. Are you going to want to make your moves first and have less reinforcements coming into your court, or do you want to have more coming in to your court to be able to work with, and you may take a turn later on? And some of that may come out of desperation, depending on how you are working with your resources. So again, there is so much stuff that's going on in this game. You've got area control, you have resource management, you have the tile laying, so you have a varying game board. And this is just in the basic game itself. Now, the expanded game adds even more elements of being able to double your score by placing governor tokens, and you can also use you can build a grande, and if somebody builds around you, you just ignore those negative effects. The things just stay there. So there's just so much stuff going on in this game. So again, I just want to recommend this if you're looking for something that's like heavier and really kind of a game that has some meat to it. Then this is a game. El Caballero is a game that you're going to want to pick up and you're going to want to play. Now, this game is not going to be for everyone. At first, somebody may see the tile laying and they may think of it similar to Carcassonne, and they're not even in the same ballpark. Okay, so even though they're both tile laying games and they have similar looking tiles, you cannot even compare the two games. They're not even alike. So this particular game, myself, I like this game, but it's not something that I can play all the time, because I have a harder time finding people that want to play this particular game. And especially like playing this with my family, I'm having a harder time trying to find them willing to play this game, because there's a lot more going on for them to be able to handle than they would like. Okay, so you have to be careful with that. Now, looking at this game from a family perspective, this game is certainly for teens on up. This is not for younger players. You definitely are going to exercise your brain with this, because you're going to have to look at anticipating what the other players are going to be doing, and then also making moves to kind of protect your assets and what you've done, and that is going to be building castillos in order to protect your men. So there's those kind of things that are going on. You have some resource management, and then also risk taking. Are you going to, how are you going to play cards in order to determine your priority? Are you going to want to take the risk of playing first and having less men and hoping that you make the right decision, or are you going to play more conservatively and have a lot more manpower during the course of the game, but you're taking a later turn? that's going on. So there's quite a bit of stuff there. And then a little bit of history. Again, you have the whole Christopher Columbus theme, and you have that exploration going on. So you have that kind of social studies thing going on. But this game is definitely going to be a game that can be used to really have to look at information and be able to make decisions, and then be able to protect those decisions that you've made. So again, this is a heavier game, so this is something that's not going to be for everybody. Hardcore gamers will eat this game up because there is so much depth to it and so much going on that this will satisfy their fix for something meaty. So again, El Caballero from Rio Grande Games. If this is something that you want to check out, you can go ahead and click the video link in the description below. And again, this is from Rio Grande Games. And that's it for now. And join me again next time as we take a look at another game and we see how it makes it to the table.